been happening with Indigo Airlines, because the matter's now knocked on the doors of the courts of law as well, and strong observations being made now by the Delhi High Court, especially against the centre and the concerned authorities over the entire Indigo chaos as well as mess. In its oral observations, the Delhi High Court has asked some pointed questions of the central government. Why did such a situation even precipitate? What steps were taken to assist the passengers? And it's also now asked the government to explain the arrangements made to manage stranded travellers and prevent harassment at airports. Now, this was, of course, during a hearing on flight disruptions in Delhi as well as other parts of India. What action has been taken to compensate passengers? How are you also ensuring that airline staff behave responsibly? These are some of the questions that have been asked by the Delhi High Court to both the centre as well as the DGCA in the wake of the entire Indigo crisis. Remember, a lot of those questions had also been posed by Group Editor-in-Chief of Times Network, Navika Kumar, to Mr. Ram Mohan Naidu, the Civil Aviation Minister, yesterday as well. Let me go across to my colleague Deepankar, who will give us some more details about what exactly transpired in the Delhi High Court during that hearing. Deepankar, some very pointed questions being asked by the Delhi High Court of the centre as well as the DGCA. Take us through the proceedings.
Well, yes, these are very pointed questions that the Delhi High Court has been raising to the Government Counsel, the Additional Solicitor General, who's appearing for the government, and he's been asked that it is quite a crisis. Which the court has remarked that it is quite a crisis, and why did such a situation precipitate? And it was only not only the passengers who were stranded, but also the loss to economy. These were some pointed questions that the court has asked. The court has also asked them, have there been any steps taken to compensate the passengers, or what actions have been taken against the employees who were there, who were involved in this entire case? The ASG has been submitting and has been pointing out that FDTL was an issue that has been raised quite a few times before the Delhi High Court earlier as well, and before the single judge. It was an undertaking that was given by the airlines companies that they will cooperate with the DGCA and the ministry to implement the FDTL guidelines. But however, the court has still asked them that why did the situation escalate to such a limit where the other airlines were taking advantage of the situation, and the prices were raised to 35,000 to 40,000 approximately.
And Deepankar, that brings me up to my follow-up question, because a good part of the hearing also centered around the predatory pricing by several airlines in the wake of the Indigo crisis. Now, yes, the central government did eventually pitch in, intervened and capped the fares, but that was almost an entire 48 hours after the crisis had already gone out of control and the damage was already done.
Also pointed these questions to the Council for the Central Government, and has said that these predatory pricings were happening, and how can the situation escalate to such a level where the situation had transpired and the other airlines, the services, were taking advantage of that and keeping up tab on prices of 40,000 and 35,000. So the Council for the central government has given a submission that the prices were immediately capped by the central government, and a capping was imposed by the central government so as to make sure that these predatory pricing do not happen. And the central government has also gone on to say that these airlines were immediately put into control, that and certain caps were provided that for certain limit of kilometers, certain price would be implemented and not further than that. So this these have been the submission of the central government regarding the predatory pricing questions that were raised, these very pointed questions that were raised by the Delhi High Court.
Deepankar, another follow-up. Now, the maximum price for a Delhi-Bengaluru ticket when the crisis went out of control was actually 92,000 rupees. Of course, all those details will be part of these discussions and proceedings in the Delhi High Court. But where does the matter go from here, Deepankar, as far as the hearing in the Delhi High Court is concerned? Will the centre now file a written affidavit as part of its submissions before the court? When is the next hearing? Are airlines also going to be made party, including Indigo, to these proceedings? What are the details?
The hearing is currently, as we are speaking, currently hearing is going on, and we'll have to wait and watch whether the Delhi High Court issues directions to file certain written submissions and to give the status report of the entire proceedings that had happened, and what actions did the central government take place. And as far as making parties, the airlines being party of the matter, the Indigo airline has already been made party. So we will have to wait and watch as to what questions, what hard-hitting questions the High Court puts to the counsel who's appearing for the Indigo Airlines, and we'll have to wait and watch as to what response the Indigo Airlines give to those questions that are being put by the Delhi High Court.
We'll, of course, have to wait and see as to what that response is officially on the part of Indigo in the proceedings in the Delhi High Court. But Dipankar, what is the main central prayer as far as these petitions are concerned that have been filed in the Delhi High Court, for which, of course, the Delhi High Court has responded and asked some pointed questions of the centre? What is the relief or the prayer that is being sought by the petitioners in this case?
Well, you see, this was a public interest litigation that was filed by private individuals who were aggrieved by the situation that was going on, that was unfolding in front of our eyes, that we were seeing at the Delhi airport, and they had sought that a writ of mandamus should be issued to provide basic facilities to the passengers that were stuck at the airport, and an independent investigation by the judiciary should be led into the large-scale cancellations.
We'll, of course, the hearings are on as we speak, Dipankar. We'll, of course, wait for more updates on what transpires during the course of those hearings and whether or not the central government and Indigo will, in fact, end up filing a written submission to state their respective cases.